following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Interbanks Media. Welcome to All Things Money with David Blain, a thoughtful and revealing discussion of actionable ideas and effective strategies to help you through the complex world of investing, taxes, and real estate. Now, with All Things Money, here's David Blain.
Hello and welcome to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. Thank you for joining us today. We've got a great show lined up for you. We'll start off with a few news tidbits, and then we'll move into some investor mistakes that people make and some advice on how to manage your portfolio. But before we do, let's cover the contact information. As always, the show is about you and your money, so we like to hear what you're thinking, questions that you may have, comments on the show. Our phone number is 252-633-0107. Our email here at the show is allthingsmoney@dlblain.com. That's allthingsmoney@dlblain.com. And of course, you can visit us on the web at www.dlblain.com. And there you'll find a wealth of information about myself, my firm, as well as archive copies of the show if you happen to miss it. So we want to start off, the first topic was a story that ran a couple of days ago about the IRS losing millions of dollars to fraudulent tax returns, and it talks about in 2011 they estimate currently that they have lost $5 billion in refund checks due to fraudulent returns, and they estimate another $21 billion could make its way into the hands of identity thefts over the next 5 years. Now, of course, these are the ones that they know about. There is a vast number of fraudulent returns that they don't know about that occur according to a government audit. They detected 940,000 fraudulent returns last year, claiming $6.5 billion in refunds, and there were another potential 1.5 million undetected cases. Now, these are ones that they know about. And what is amazing about this is, I don't understand this. Anybody that runs a business or anything out there, they found a single address in Lansing, Michigan that was used to file 2,137 separate tax returns. So people put down this address 2,137 different times. The IRS issued $3.3 million in refunds to that address. Now, I don't know, somewhere after maybe the first 1,000 refund checks that went to that address, you would think that they would catch on to the fact that this may not be an accurate thing. 3 addresses in Florida filed more than 500 returns, totaling more than $1 million in refunds for each of the addresses. The other thing, these refunds are being deposited into the same bank account. One instance, the IRS deposited 590 refunds totaling more than $900,000 into one account. Once again, you'd think after the first, a couple hundred direct deposits to somebody's bank account that it was fraudulent. And so these are the folks that are going to be responsible for enforcing the health care mandate. You think there's going to be no fraud there? They said that identity theft-related fraud is one of the biggest challenges. They stopped almost $12 billion in confirmed fraud. Of course, as we already showed, they missed about $6 billion in fraud. Anyway, thought that would be an interesting thing to start the show off with. Last week we were talking some about insurance, and I wanted to pick up, we talked about some insurance policies that you probably don't need or that are overpriced, kind of useless insurance. What I wanted to do today is cover a couple of traits of things that you may be doing in your life that raise the risk of big lawsuits. Some things that you can do, things that insurance companies are going to have higher premiums and that they see lawsuits for regularly. So the first one we'll talk about is multiple homes. Number one is the more homes you have, the harder it is to supervise activities that go on in those locations, and especially if they have swimming pools, ponds, trampolines. So if you have a pool at your house and maybe you have a beach house with a pool, big lawsuit risk. Not only are you going to pay the insurance company to help offload some of that risk, but it's a big risk. You also have, especially with pools, you have the liability. You got to have people that come there and clean it. Not only people falling in and drowning, but the people that clean it and things like that. Okay, number two, believe it or not, home renovations. People with multiple homes or homes that they're always renovating. Construction work represents a very high risk situation for both property damage as well as injury-related claims. You would think that if a workman hurts themselves while renovating your house that you're not affected, but a lot of times these work people end up suing the homeowner, believe it or not. Number three, I'm sure you're all familiar with this, drivers under the age of 26. These children that are driving, they're still on the parents' auto policy, a big risk of lawsuit. As you probably know, if you're in a car accident, the merits of the accident have nothing to do with it. It's whether the party that hit you has any money or not that determines whether the lawsuit will be filed. If someone that, a homeless person that is driving a car hits you, there's not going to be a big lawsuit because they have nothing to get. Whereas, a 22-year-old son of Bill Gates or something runs into somebody, you can guarantee there's going to be a lawsuit. Number four, powered recreational vehicles, things like jet skis, ATVs, power boats, motorcycles, snowmobiles, all those type of, really fun things to do outside bring the risk of big lawsuits, not only for property damage, but personal injury. The other thing, although a lot of adults use those things, they also attract that vaunted demographic of young, 17 to 25-year-old males, which tend to be a little bit more reckless. So they're also a big target for lawsuit. I'm not saying get rid of them. It's just be aware of it, make sure you have proper coverage, and make sure you have control over those things. The last one I want to mention today is if you have some sort of side business that brings customers to your privately owned property. If you have, say, an office in the house or some sort of side business where people routinely come, maybe a gentleman's horse farm or something like that, renting stalls to other horse owners. The more people that come to your property, especially for business-related things, the greater chances of injury and the greater chance of lawsuit. So there's just a couple of things there for you to remember when you're looking at your liability coverage. Make sure you're covering these things. Multiple homes, swimming pools, ponds, things like that. Home renovations, drivers under the age of 26, recreational vehicles, powered recreational vehicles, and side businesses that bring people to your home. Well, that brings us to our first break. When we come back, we'll start talking about the error-proof portfolio.